After everything Joe Root has been through, trying to steer a struggling side through the difficulties of COVID and the pandemic, that was one of his great. But what I think will mean as much to him as scoring a match-winning 100 at Lord's against a strong New Zealand side will be the reception he got from the crowd, both when he walked out to bat on the first day and when he walked back into the pavilion on the fourth morning with a brilliant 115 not out. When you reach the end of your reign as captain and results are not going your way, it's easy to wonder what the public are thinking. But the response Root got at Lord's would have ended any concerns he might. Put simply, he felt the love of the English cricketing public and that will mean the world. He spoke afterwards about how the captaincy had taken its toll on him, how towards the end he couldn't switch. To have carried on scoring the runs he did, 1,708 in Test cricket in 2021 alone and now 3 more hundreds in 2022, would have been exceptional under normal circumstances. To do it under the shadow of COVID, and with so little help from his teammates, Rob Key said recently that scoring the runs he did while carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders was one of the greatest achievements in the history of English. More than that, he did it all with a smile and not the slightest. He's an incredible ambassador for the game. Ben Stokes would have had 2 major wishes ahead of this test. An England win. He got both, and a big part of that was because of intelligent reading of the situation on Saturday afternoon. Root has always had a lovely tempo about the way he bats, and his rhythm in this innings was as good as it has ever. But what marked it out as even more special was the way he and Stokes seized the moment to take the attack to the New Zealanders in the 4th innings run chase. The tourists had just changed the ball, which was swinging but had gone soft, and ended up with one that was harder but no longer. They were hoping for more seam movement, but Root and Stokes knew it would also come onto the bat more easily. They also knew they had to keep scoring at a healthy rate, because the last thing they wanted was for New Zealand to have a second new ball in their hands with England needing 20 to win and the Tailenders at the crease. It's one thing to assess a situation, another to put the theory into practice. But Root and Stokes, and later Ben Foakes, did that. Victory came with 7 deliveries to go before the second new ball. Root timed it to perfection, and that's the mark of a first-rate cricket brain. I can also tell you from first-hand experience that it's not necessarily straightforward returning to the ranks after you've captained England. It's a tough job when you're doing it. The moment it's no longer yours, you also realize what a great job. It's always the way. In my first game after stepping down at Edgbaston, against South Africa at Lord's, my brain was completely. I dropped Graham Smith in single figures and he went on to get 250. Our new skipper Michael Vaughan wasn't impressed and told. So for Root to be able to park whatever emotions he must have been feeling after stepping down in April, and to play with such a clear head for his new captain, says everything about the blow. He can now spend the next few years being that leader in the dressing room for Stokes. And I have no doubt he'll keep scoring runs by the bucket load. The burden of the captaincy is no longer there and he looks as good as. English cricket is lucky to have Joe Root, and the response of the Lord's crowd showed we all